Hello everyone, my name is Mostafa Namian. On behalf of the co-authors from East Carolina University, Amelia, Saul, and Syed Ahmed, I am presenting the article titled Psychological Influence on Safety Culture in the Construction Industry, a Pedagogical Framework for Safety Training Application. Construction is one of the most In order to address the poor safety performance of workers and the high rates of accidents in construction, safety training programs are provided. However, research has shown that these safety training programs are not effective enough. Research has shown that human factors in safety training must be considered, and social sciences must be integrated into the safety training curriculum. Therefore, the current study aimed to do so. The literature review showed that targeting changes in behaviors, attitudes, and norms will successfully improve the safety climate and culture and ultimately the safety performance of organizations. And based on the concepts of behavior, norms, and attitudes, a recommended module in combating negative safety behavior is provided. Here is the overview of the conceptual model that we're going to take a look at it. First is the individual behavior. When someone decides, for example, not to wear their safety helmet, uh, this individual consistently neglects to wear a helmet, and as a result, other co-workers observe such behavior. Then we'll have two pathways. Number one is when such behavior is reinforced, when you ignore the behavior and you stop wearing that, and this will result in a negative change of the attitude, safety attitude. On the other hand, the other pathway is the behavior, such the extinguish of such behavior. That when you take some actions, you tell the people that they need to wear their helmet, and then you communicate with the supervisors. This will have a change in the attitude in a positive. And as you can see, these two pathways will result in two different social norms. One, the first pathway when helmets are not necessary as a social norm, and number two, when helmets are necessary. Ultimate result of the first pathway is negative safety culture, and the ultimate result of the second pathway is positive safety culture. Therefore, based on what we discussed, a pedagogical framework was proposed. This framework includes class materials that are relevant social psychology terms, such as climate, safety, atmosphere, or climate, social norms, and attitudes. So students will become familiar with such terminology. And then this model will be presented to the trainees. They will be aware of the two possible pathways that are influenced by their behaviors and their colleagues' behaviors. This framework also includes class activities, which mainly focus on critical thinking. A story or a scenario can be provided to the class, and then the trainees will be asked to critically analyze the situation and determine either positive or negative norms that exist. Then several questions are suggested to be asked from the trainees. For example, can you identify the social atmosphere in this scenario? Or is there a safety norm occurring? If so, what is the norm? Is it positive or negative? After developing the material, a pilot study was conducted. In this pilot study, 4 OSHA authorized construction safety trainers participated. They were given the surveys and a proposed module that was developed and asked to answer a few questions based on their relevant experience. Half of the participants, 2 out of 4, had never considered psychological aspects. One of the participants, on the other hand, mentioned that he or she included psychological aspects in accident causation discussions and also requisite activities for building a successful safety program and analysis of various safety cultures demonstrated by upper management communications. These are all related to OSHA 30 training, not OSHA 10. The other participant mentioned that he or she used these psychological aspects to engage with the students. So a different benefit of integrating psychological aspects into safety training program. One of the participants mentioned that these aspects can be integrated into OSHA 10 training, not OSHA 30. Also, the majority of participants mentioned that they do not have any relevant story to share with the trainings explaining the psychological aspects of human. Finally, as the conclusion and recommendations, I would like to mention that behavioral changes are the most important aspects of safety and safety trainings. And as the recommendations, we would suggest the trainers to include either a homework assignment, asking the trainees to go to a nearby job site and observe the behaviors of other workers, or consider their own previous experiences, or have a scenario and discuss that scenario as a class or in groups or individually, and then consider the psychological aspects of human behavior, evaluate and review the behaviors of workers, either unsafe behavior or safe behaviors, identify norms, and review and think critically how these behaviors can be changed. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.